Well, all right, everybody. We are back with our next episode of WWFC Superstars. So we'll take a look back here at our last week's episode, and then we will get into booking tonight's show. So on last week's episode, the pre-show was Power and Glory defeating the Powers of Pain. Vince and Jesse running down the card, telling us all the matches we were going to see. We opened the show with the Honky Tonk Man defeating Barry Horowitz to retain the WWFC World Television title. Mr. Perfect told Nick Bockwinkel and Lex Luger, you guys better be prepared for this tag team match because it's not going to be easy for you. And he praised Nick Bockwinkel as well for their tremendous matches that they had the week before. Then we had Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude defeat Lex Luger and Nick Bockwinkel. Sergeant Slaughter telling Mr. Wonderful, do you want to fight? You're looking for a fight and you're going to get one. And then we had the Nasty Boys beat the Twin Towers. We had Jimmy and Honky telling Duggan and the Nasty Boys, you guys aren't all that you seem to be. You guys might just want to hit the bricks here. Then we had Jake Roberts take on Dino Bravo. Ken Shamrock telling everybody, I've had enough of sitting on the sidelines. I'm taking over now. And then he came out and got crushed by the Ultimate Warrior. Then we had the Rougeaus kind of dissing the LOD and the Natural Disasters. Then we headed into a tag team match, or an 8-man tag match. With the Natural Disasters and the Road Warriors beating Money Inc. and the Fabulous Rougeaus. And then we had Jake tell Savage, your time as the WWFC champions coming up. You're not going to be champion much longer when we hit Saturday night's main event on May 18th. And then we had Savage beat Hacksaw in a 90 rated match, which is not too bad. So I will be back after I am done. Well, all right, we have the show booked. Let's hop right into it, starting off with our pre-show match. In a decent pre-show match, the Honky Tonk Man defeated Bushwhacker Butch in 10 minutes and 11 seconds by pinfall with the shake, rattle, and roll. The crowd heat is expected simmering. The wrestling rating was a 64. The crowd rating was a 54. The segment got a 70. So Honky Tonk Man had a 67. Bushwhacker Butch had a 60. Honky Tonk Man and Bushwhacker Butch have great chemistry, and it showed in their performances. It's fantastic. The commentary quality lifted the match. The color commentary gave it a boost, and Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside. So I didn't actually know that they had good chemistry. So maybe that could be another match somewhere down the line. Probably not. Let's head in to our opening with Vince and Jesse. Welcome, everybody, to another electrifying edition of WWFC Superstars. I'm Vince McMahon, alongside my broadcast partner, Jesse the Body Ventura, and we've got an incredible night of action lined up for you. That's right, McMahon. Tonight, the stars are out, and the action is going to be hotter than ever. We've got matches that'll leave you on the edge of your seats. Let's start with that lunatic Ken Shamrock. He's been itching for a fight, and tonight he steps into the ring with none other than the legendary Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. Shamrock has been making waves since arriving in the WWFC, but Jimmy Snuka is no stranger to high-pressure situations. This is going to be a clash of styles you won't miss. Speaking of clashes, we got two of the toughest men in the business going head-to-head as the Big Boss Man takes on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. These are two powerhouse competitors who don't know the meaning of the word quit. Bossman has been making waves with his unrelenting style, but Jim Duggan is as patriotic and determined as they come. It's sure to be a slugfest. And how about the tag team division, McMahon? Tonight, we've got the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, taking on the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian. This match is going to be a war. 4 absolute powerhouses in the same ring. You're absolutely right, Jesse. The tag team division is heating up, and this match could determine the future contenders for the WWFC tag team titles. Not to mention, we're going to hear from the Macho King tonight after his incredible victory at WrestleMania. You know he's got something to say about Jake Roberts and the upcoming rematch for the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event on May 18th. The Macho King always has something up his sleeve, Jesse, and tonight will be no different. So, folks, don't go anywhere. WWFC Superstars starts right now. So, the crowd heat at the end is hot and rising. The segment got an 88. It advanced all of our storylines. Jesse improvised well. Vince McMahon improvised well. The angle got the crowd hotter, and this angle started the show off strong. So, let's head to our first match. In a decent match, Nick Bockwinkel defeated King Kong Bundy in 9:55 with a pile driver. I find that highly unlikely. But the crowd heat at the end is hot. The wrestling rating was a 64. The crowd rating was a 69. And the segment got a 74. King Kong Bundy had an in-ring performance of 57. Nick Bockwinkel had a 71. The commentary quality lifted the match, so that's fantastic. Now, let's head in to our next segment. Ooh, that is so good. Ho! Let me tell you something, tough guy. Honky Tonk Man, you've been strutting around with that WWFC World Television Championship thinking you're untouchable. But I'm here to tell you, brother, that your days of running and hiding are over. For weeks now, I've been watching you duck real competition, and I'm sick of it. You want to call yourself the greatest TV champion of all time? Well, pal, now you've never faced anyone like old Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I fought for this country, I fought for pride, and now I'm fighting to bring that championship home to where it belongs. I don't care what it takes, Honky Tonk Man, if I gotta chase you to the ring, to the locker room, or even your fancy pink Cadillac. I will get my hands on you, and when I do, that TV title is coming home with me. You better be ready because the clock's ticking, and you can't run from Hacksaw Jim Duggan forever. Ho! So, the crowd at the end is white hot. The segment got a 78. It advanced the Hacksaw Honky Tonk Man storyline. The commentary quality lifted it, and the angle got the crowd even hotter. So, let's head to our next match. Ooh. In a wild brawl that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeated Big Boss Man in 12:30 by pinfall with his running clothesline tackle. The crowd at the end is very hot. The wrestling rating was a 76. The crowd rating was a 57. And the segment got an 80. Hacksaw had an in-ring performance at 79. Big Boss Man had a 74. It advanced the Honky Tonk and Hacksaw storyline. There were times when there was a definite lack of psychology on display, and the match had a tendency to drift a little. The commentary quality lifted the match as well, so at least we got some boost out of it. So, let's head to our next segment. And these guys are killing it. Mesdames and messieurs, listen up. The Rougeaus are here to remind you why we are the class of the WWFC Tag Team Division. And as for the so-called natural disasters, they're just a couple of oversized buffoons who think size equals skill. That's right, Chuck, look at us. We are the epitome of perfection, the finest athletes in the tag team division. The natural disasters may be big, but big doesn't mean smart and certainly doesn't mean winners. Oh, absolutely, typhoon and earthquake, you might throw your weight around, but that's all you've got, weight. Meanwhile, we've got the brains, the speed, and the chemistry. We are finesse, precision, and style personified. You two don't have what it takes to beat the Rougeaus. and you certainly don't have what it takes to become the WWFC Tag Team Champions. In fact, when we're done with you, you'll realize you never should have even stepped into the ring with us in the first place. And after we embarrass you, we'll be one step closer to claiming what's rightfully ours. Oh, well, they already. Well, that doesn't make sense. Because let's face it, no team on this roster is better than the Rougeaus. Not the Natural Disasters, not the Road Warriors, not even the Midnight Express over on Primetime. We're the best, and soon the whole world will know it. Natural Disasters, you're nothing but a speed bump on the Rougeaus' road to gold. See you out there if you can keep up. So the crowd is very hot. The segment got a 77. It advanced the Rougeaus in the Natural Disaster storyline. The performance of Gene Okerlund was good. Gene clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script, and the commentary lifted it. So let's head to our next match. Not too bad, not too bad. In a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, the Road Warriors defeated the Powers of Pain in 13:27 when Animal pinned Warlord with a flying shoulder tackle. The Warlord was a weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody. The crowd is very hot. The wrestling rating was a 61. The crowd rating was a 45. The segment was a 75. Barbarian had a 48. The Warlord had a 38. Road Warrior Hawk had an 80, and Animal had a 79. It advanced the Road Warriors versus Money Inc. storyline. The match suffered because there wasn't enough selling shown. The Warlord was really off his game. Warlord and Barbarian showed excellent chemistry. Road Warrior Hawk and Animal showed excellent chemistry. Hawk and Animal also got a tag team specialist bonus. Jesse and Vince have pretty good chemistry when calling matches. The commentary quality lifted the match. The color commentary gave it a boost. Slick did good work at ringside. Paul Ellering did good work at ringside. And Hawk and Animal and Paul Ellering have great chemistry. So let's head off to our next segment. Ooh, that's bad. So it's pretty much just Money Inc. attacking the Road Warriors after their match. So the crowd is very hot. This segment got a 67, and it lost them some heat. Let's head to the next segment. Ooh, an 86. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. WrestleMania was the grandest stage. Dig it. And on that stage, the Macho King stood tall, stood proud, and walked out still the WWFC World Heavyweight Champion. But I know one thing, yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts. You're like a snake in the grass, always lurking, ready to strike. You want another title shot at Saturday night's main event on May 18th? That's fine by me, brother, because the cream always rises to the top, and I'm ready to prove again that I am the best in the world. But tonight I've got a challenge for you. Randy, you talk a good game, but we both know the truth. At WrestleMania, you escaped with that title by the skin of your teeth. But you didn't beat me, Savage. Not really. And come May 18th, I'll make sure the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship has a new home around my waist. But you said you had a challenge for me tonight because, funny, I was coming out here to do the same thing. You see, Randy, I've got no problem waiting until Saturday night's main event to take that title. But I'm a patient man with a devilish sense of humor. So how about this? You pick a partner, and I'll pick a partner, and we'll settle things in the ring tonight. You want a tag team match tonight? You got it, yeah. But let me tell you something, Snake Man. Whoever I pick is going to be ready to bring the fight just like me. You better pick wisely, brother. Because tonight, the madness runs wild. Ooh, yeah. Careful what you wish for, Randy. You might find that when the snake strikes, even madness isn't enough to survive. See you tonight, champ. So the crowd's very hot. The segment got an 86. and it advanced the Savage Roberts storyline. So let's head to our next match. In a decent match, Ken Shamrock defeated Jimmy Snuka in 12:05 by submission. Man, that's fantastic. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating was a 66. The crowd rating was a 64. The segment got a 79. Jimmy Snuka had a 55, and Ken Shamrock had a 77. The the commentary quality lifted the match, so that's fantastic as well. Let's head to the next segment. Oh, man, we are hitting pretty good today. Sergeant Slaughter, let me make one thing perfectly clear to you. You may walk around here barking orders like you're running a boot camp, but this isn't the military, pal. This is the WWFC, and in my ring, I don't take orders. I give them. You got in my way, Slaughter. You stole my spotlight that rightfully belonged to me and had the audacity to act like it was your time to shine. Let me tell you something. When it comes to being Mr. Wonderful, there's no room for second place, and there's no room for someone like you. I've had enough of you sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, so Slaughter, I'm laying down the challenge. You and me, face to face, in that ring, very soon. And when that bell rings, I'm not just going to beat you, I'm going to break you once and for all. You like to call yourself a patriot, Slaughter? Well, after I'm done with you, the only thing you'll be saluting is the stretcher they wheel you out on. That's wonderful, baby. That's Mr. Wonderful. So the crowd is very hot at the end. It advanced the Sergeant Slaughter Paul Orndorff storyline. The segment got a 71. The commentary quality lifted the segment, and the color commentary gave it a boost. So let's head to our next match. In a decent match, Ted DiBiase defeated Earthquake in 11:49 by pinfall with a surprise cradle. The crowd at the end is very hot. The wrestling rating was a 67. The crowd rating is a 69. The segment got a 77. Earthquake had an in-ring performance of 63. Ted DiBiase had a 71. It advanced the Rougeaus versus the Natural Disaster storyline and the Road Warriors versus the Money Inc. storyline. Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon had pretty good chemistry when calling matches together. The commentary quality lifted the match, and Ted DiBiase benefited from having a hot new move. So let's head to our next segment. Yeah, I think that's the best we've ever gotten from him. Mr. Perfect, you've been running your mouth ever since WrestleMania, bragging about how you beat me, how you're the perfect Intercontinental Champion. Well, guess what? That was then, and this is now. At Saturday night's main event on May 18th, everything changes. You see, Perfect, I've been in the gym, I've been in the ring, and I've been preparing for this moment. I know every trick you have, every shortcut you've taken, every time you try to weasel your way out of a fight. But this time, there's no escape, because when that bell rings, it's just you and me, and nowhere to hide. You call yourself perfect, but let's see how perfect you are when you're locked in the torture rack. Let's see how perfect you are when I hear you scream and feel you tap out, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're not just stepping into the ring with any challenger. You're stepping into the ring with the total package. Mr. Perfect, enjoy the Intercontinental Championship while you can. Shine it up. Take all the pictures you want, because after Saturday night's main event, it's coming home with me. And I promise you this, I won't just beat you. I'll prove to the world that you're nothing but a fraud. That clock's ticking, Perfect. May 18th can't come soon enough. Get ready, Perfect. The total package is coming for you, and this time, there's no way out. So the crowd's very hot. It advanced the Mr. Perfect Lex Luger storyline. This segment got a 75. Okerlund invented a new catchphrase that will likely boost his ability on the microphone. And Gene Okerlund came out looking good. So let's head off to our next match. Oh, I forgot to do it again. In a decent match, the Fabulous Rougeaus defeated the Nasty Boys in 11:45 when Jacques pinned Jerry Saggs with Le Bum de Rougeau. The Rougeaus make defense number 3 of the WWFC tag team titles. The crowd is very hot. The wrestling rating is a 64. The crowd rating is a 60. The segment got a 77. Uh, Brian Knobs had a 64. Jerry had a 62. Raymond had a 59. And Jacques had a 72. Uh, Knobs and Seggs showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Jerry Seggs and Brian Knobs got a tag team specialist bonus. Jacques and Raymond showed excellent chemistry teaming together. The commentary quality lifted the match, and Jimmy Hart did some good work at ringside. Um, and Hart and the Nasty Boys are confusingly on the different sides of the uh, face heel divide. So let's head off to the next match or our next segment. Last week on WWFC Superstars, the Ultimate Warrior got a win over Ravishing Rick Rude, and everyone wants to talk about it like it's some kind of career highlight for that face paint wearing lunatic. Well, let me set the record straight. What happened last week was nothing more than a fluke. Warrior, you didn't beat me because you're better than me. You didn't beat me because you're smarter than me. And you sure as hell didn't beat me because you're tougher than me. No, you got lucky, plain and simple. Let me tell you something. Lightning doesn't strike twice. In Saturday night's main event on May 18th, when we step into the ring together, I'm going to remind you, Warrior, and the entire WWFC why Ravishing Rick Rude is the greatest athlete in this business has ever seen. I'm going to outsmart you, outclass you, and outwrestle you. And when the dust settles, you'll be laying flat on your back looking up at me as the referee counts 1, 2, 3. You call yourself the Ultimate Warrior, but when you face me, you'll see there's nothing ultimate about you. You're just a flash in the pan, a muscle-bound oaf who doesn't belong in the same ring as a man of my caliber. So, Warrior, I hope you're watching this. I hope you're listening, because at Saturday night's main event, I'm going to make you regret ever thinking you could beat Ravishing Rick Rude. And after I'm done with you, Warrior, maybe I'll take some time to show your little fans out there what a real man looks like. So the crowd at the end is very hot. It advanced the Rick Rude Ultimate Warrior storyline. The segment got a 75. The commentary quality lifted it. So let's head to our main event. In a good match, Macho King Randy Savage and Paul Orndorff defeated Jake Roberts and Sergeant Slaughter in 1609 when the Macho King pinned Sergeant Slaughter with a flying elbow drop. Paul Orndorff was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 74. The crowd rating was a 76. And the segment got an 85. So Sergeant Slaughter got a 72. Jake the Snake got a 77. Mr. Wonderful got a 60. The Macho King got an 85. It advanced the Randy Savage, Jake Roberts storyline, the Sergeant Slaughter, Paul Orndorff storyline, and Slaughter seemed off his game. So let's finish up the show. We got an 84, so that's not too bad. The show increased in 5 regions. We would have gained pop in 2 U.S. regions, but we were limited to the number of viewers, as well as Canada, too. So let's finish everything off. The financial report, we made $724,437. And we went up to 70 in just about everywhere in Canada. In Quebec, we're at 70. Ontario, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, we are now at 70 in that region. So, man, let's hope we can keep climbing. We get to 71, and I think we might hit a new size. So, that is everything for this episode. I will see you in the next one.